Whoa. Big reptile talk. Yeah, we working. Talking about service. Big reptile talk. When it comes to talking about snakes, yeah. Love that we got for them effect, yeah. Big reptile talk. Let's talk about reptiles. Yeah, big reptile talk. Let's talk about reptiles.
Yo. Welcome to the podcast. As always, before we start, we got to pay a few bills. So please, if you keep reptiles, make sure you check out venom-proof cages. Some of the best cages on the market, especially if you keep venomous snakes. Make sure you go check them out on Instagram, Facebook. Hit them up. Tell them Derek from Derek's Reptiles sent you. Going to be a great show today. We have a big dog in the building, man. But before we get started, let's just show some love, man. Lance Kirkman, thank you for being here. Bosa Balls, what's going on? Inquiline, what's going on, man? Much love to you. The Range Reptile Feeders, what's going on, brother? Iron Dog, man. Y'all make sure y'all check them out tonight at 8 o'clock. Iron Dog is going live. I don't know if Justin is just joining them, but shout out to the Iron Animal Show. Good people's over there. What is up, CSL? Man, it's going to be a good show today. Today, we got a heavyweight from Instagram joining us today. Michelle from Mosh Balls. How you doing today?
I am good. How are you?
Not too bad. Excited to have you here. Now I gotta ask. You fresh off Tinley, man. So how was it vending Tinley? That's the Super Bowl of reptile expos.
I love going to Tinley. Not getting to shop, it's a little sad, so you'll often see me wander away from my booth and leave my son and husband over it. But I love it. Everybody stops by and talks, and it's great.
You know what? I want to go to Tinley. Excuse me. I want to go to Tinley, but my wife would be pissed because I know I'm gonna bring home something that's $20,000-$30,000, and my wife's gonna be hot. But that is exciting. So currently right now, you're breeding. How long have you been breeding?
See, we're getting ready to go into our third season. So we're fairly new at the actual breeding part.
That is insane. So 3 years and you have already, been at Tinley and sold stuff there. That is insane, man. So what made you want to get into breeding, and why ball pythons?
So that's a long story. I've always been it started out when I was a kid, herping and catching frogs and turtles and lizards and those kind of things. I wasn't into snakes when we first got married, and my husband wanted a ball python we got married in 2004, so probably around 2005, 2006. And so he talked me into it. We got a normal ball python, and it wouldn't eat. It was just like an import. It wouldn't eat at all. We took it to the vet. I stressed about it. Once I got all maternal about it, we ended up not keeping that one. We took it back because we didn't know what we were doing. When I look back at how we took care of it, I'm like, well, it's no wonder it didn't eat. We had it in like a 10-gallon tank, and yeah, it was bad. So we waited a little while, and then around 2011, that's when we started becoming known as Mosh Balls, but it was back on the ballpython.net. And we ended up with like 10 ball pythons at that time. But I have just a little at the time. So after a couple of years, we never made it to the actual breeding part, and we got out again. And I felt really bad about it. I did breed rats at that time, and I got really attached to the rats, which was part of the problem. So I think once it's something, it's kind of like your intro where, never give up on your dreams, don't quit. I think if it's something you really, really want to, you just keep coming back to it. And so now that my kids are grown and we came back in, I think we started buying ball pythons again in 2019. But luckily, I already had the name picked. I already had the Gmail. All of that stuff was still from where I had it before. I kept it going. So I didn't have to start all over again with the branding. We just had to pick out a logo.
Now I gotta ask, like, talk about that name. What made you come up with that name, Mosh Balls?
My husband's name's Josh, and I'm Michelle. So Mosh Balls. And it to me, it was a name that sounded familiar because of mothballs, and so people would remember it. But when I searched it, and granted, I searched back in 2011, nobody had anything for it. So we got moshballs@gmail.com. We got moshballs.com. We've got all of our brand is Moshballs. Instagram is just Moshballs. So we didn't have to do any of like the letters or the dashes like everybody always has to do, because and there has a lot of similar things since we started going, but
I love it, man. I love it. Mosh Balls, man. And you're breeding snakes, man. I would love to breed snakes, but my wife's not going for it because I would be a terrible breeder, and I'm gonna tell you why. The minute I have a clutch, I'm keeping all the snakes. I'm not selling nothing.
Yeah, that can kind of be a problem sometimes. Yeah.
I would be a hoarder. Now I would be a hoarder, and I'd keep everything now. Now, since you've been breeding, I gotta ask: Have you ever had seller's remorse where you're just like, you know what, shit, I wish I wouldn't have sold that?
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, since you've been breeding ball pythons, have you ever had seller's remorse where you're like, damn, I wish I wouldn't have sold that?
No, because the things that I took that I didn't want to sell, I put an insane price on. Like insane. Like I saw people walk up to my booth and go, "She is crazy." And I was like, I don't want to sell it, so I'm just gonna keep it and put a crazy tag on it.
That is hilarious. It's like I don't need to do holdbacks. If I don't want to sell it, you want that snake, 70,000. That is hilarious. I love it. I love it. Now I want to have a little fun and give you a hot seat question.
Okay.
Now you're at Tinley. You're one of the big dogs. You're around all the big dogs. So we love everybody, but currently right now, who's your favorite breeder?
That's a hard question. There's so many good ones. I have to say Canova, like that's the generic answer because obviously he's everybody's. But every single time I walk, and I'm assuming we're talking bull pythons.
Yes.
Because if I walk up, like his table's insane, and I've got JD snakes already, so I've already purchased from him. So yeah, his stuff's crazy too. And the one vendor at Tinley that I always go to is Vin Russo's table, but he's boas. So yeah, I got quite a few favorites actually.
Now, Canova, that's the cream of the crop. And since we're talking about Canova, let's talk about this visit. How was it visiting the Canova facility? Did he have snipers? Did he have pit bulls guarding the gates? How was your visit to Canova?
Oh my God, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So we're in his VIP Patreon. And so he had the Patreons out last November, but it was the date of my son's 16th birthday. And we already had a trip planned. And I'm like, I can't not go to his 16th birthday party that I'm hosting. So I literally was so sad his whole like birthday party being like, they're only 4 hours away. I could just drive up real quick. I can come back. And so we didn't get to go. And Summer had mentioned, well, if you're ever coming by, just let us know. And so we did. And I'm like shocked that like they let us. So Justin wasn't actually there though. That was the bad part because we were driving to Florida. So but Chase and Summer was absolutely amazing. And being there was just absolutely amazing. And we are definitely doing the VIP thing now in November in a couple weeks because I celebrate your birthday, but it will be after Canova's.
I love it. I love it. That is insane. Now I'm gonna put you on solo. What is that in your hands? What is that right there?
So this is my IMG Motley Arabesque Pos Het VPI by BCI Boa Constrictor Imperator from John Chosmer Reptiles. And
beautiful.
She is a dream reptile for me. Back, like I said, in 2011, we bought this book. I don't know if you're familiar with Barry's Designer Morphs.
Oh, yeah.
It has, the front is all boas, all balls, and the back is boas. And It usually opens right up to, it's not even called IMG in this book. It's Asabachi, or I don't know. I can't pronounce it. But ever since I saw the picture in here, I was like, I have got to have one of those. But of course, that was not going to happen.
I did see that on your Instagram that
It was one of the first things I did.
I did see that on your Instagram. You're into ball pythons, boas, carpet pythons, but right now your favorite is ball pythons, right?
That's what I breed. It's not my favorite.
It's what you breed, but it's not your favorite. Where's your heart at, snake wise?
I love my boas. She's my only. Well, I shouldn't say that because I have from Ben Russo. I have the El Salvador blood boa from the Ron St. Pierre line from that, and then I got a female Nicaraguan hypo blood, and those are dwarf boas, so they're like less than half the size of her and the same age. So when they all get up to size, I'm sure I'll do that. I go back and forth on whether or not I want to breed her because it's so dangerous for females, and I love this snake. Like, I love this snake so much.
Right. I love it. Now I know that you do so much stuff, but I want to talk now about the the ball pythons. What's your currently favorite morph ball python wise?
Like favorite, like my personal favorite, because my personal favorite has always been lesser because I fell in love with it back in the day. But the thing that I'm most excited about in our breeding projects is we're working on the Hypoclown Pied project. In fact, the eggs we have in the incubator right now, we only have 3 of them, which is really sad. So they're probably not going anywhere. Het hypopied, and I have a lesser pastel leopard het clown, but she's got a crazy ringer on her. So I don't know if you know very much about the leopard morph.
Oh yeah,
but originally they were used to make het pieds before they realized leopard was a morph by itself. And I forget who the breeder was, so I apologize about that. But because she's a leopard with a crazy ringer, I'm trying to see if she's actually het pied as well. So if those turn out comp het hypo, and then I also have. Can I pull something?
Of course. We want to see it. We want to see your current projects. What is Mosh Balls working on? Can you pull it? Of course you can pull it. This is the snake show. Yes, pull it.
She's not having it. She's a hypo-5 girl.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, if they come out, everything will be 100% hypo-clown pieds because of him being visual clown. But we have a possibility of getting hypo-pied clown, which will reduce our odds substantially. So, and I've got a female triple head I've already growing up. So
you got some awesome projects in the works.
Yeah, I've really been focusing on double and triple heads. Let me show you her.
We here. We want to see it. I love it. While y'all here, thank you everybody for showing up in the chat. Welcome to the podcast. This is Big Reptiles Talk, and we are live with Mosh Balls. Oh yeah, let me see that.
She's just a normal, but she's triple head. She's freaked out.
Beautiful.
She is super dark in her blacks and super light.
Beautiful.
So she's already growing up to pretty good size. So I'm really super.
I love it, man. You got some awesome projects going on, and that's what it's about. We love to come talk snakes, and I want people to come here, have fun, and learn stuff. When you got into the ball python hobby, how did you learn the morphs? Because there's so many of them.
This book you can still see it's kind of the ball that I used to put in it. But I used to just sit with this book and learn all of the key features, because that book shows you what the single gene looks like, and then it showed you with the basic other combos. And so I would just be like, oh my gosh, if I put the Mojave into this, then I'll get savannas, and like I was just going all about it. So when we first came back, most of my collection now is a lot of the more original genes, because I know how to identify those, and I'm learning like the new genes one or two at a time to add in. And like we do also have, and we have an TSK Xanthic clown project. My other trips are albino ultramelpides. So I'm trying to get females that are like at least triple het or past triple hets. So that way, wherever we end up going or the market goes, we'll be ready to put the males to them.
Right.
Cool.
I love that. Now, ultimately, you know, a lot of people, you know, they are known for morphs. Like Ozzy's known for the Orange Dream. You know, Justin did the Batman and other amazing morphs. My question to you is, what, you know, down the line or even in the near future, what morph do you want Mosh Balls to be known for? Where they can be like, where you
I love it to be the Hypoclown Pieds, but honestly, I'm kind of playing the odds. It really comes down to whatever I hit the odds on, because it could be years for some of them to ever hit. And then I could hit it on something that I'm not excited about at all, and that end up being the direction. Our first project, or our first clutch that we got, that I kept a lot of the holdbacks from, Hypopide, but they have cinnamon and leopard and Mojave pastel in them. So I think that's probably going to be the backbone, just because it was one of the first things that we really got into.
Right. I love that. Now, to have a little fun, you know, you've been breeding for a while, and you know your husband supports your dream, but I want to have fun. You know, have you ever lied to your husband? And what I mean by that is, have you ever wanted a snake for a project, and you told your husband, you know, baby, I really need this snake for a project. It's $1,000, and he ended up finding out it was like $4,000 or $5,000.
I didn't lie, but so like I said, we've been wanting an IMG for a while. We talked to John. He had some IMGs at the St. Louis Show Me Snakes, probably I think it's 2020, 21, that's around there. Might have been 19. When we talked to him at that time, waiting to see what was coming, I really thought I was going to end up with an IMG Anne Motley kind of thing at the Sin City show. And she was just spectacular. And I was like, oh. And then we went to Florida, and I was watching the Schomburg show, all the videos on YouTube. It was a family trip, so we were with my in-laws in Florida. And Canova did a video at John Chosmer's booth, and he pulls out, I think it was actually her brother, but I thought it was her. He pulls her out and shows it to Summer on the Canova video. And I was like, that's my snake. It is not coming home. And so the whole day I was like, I'm going to lose my snake. And I kept showing the video to my husband and be like, this is my snake. This is totally the one I want. And he's like, okay, honey, that's great. That's great. We're in Florida. Can we be in Florida right now? So I ended up going to the Sin City show the next, when we got back, and she was at his booth, and I was like, oh my God, you still have her. I cannot believe you still have her. And I took a picture and sent it to my husband, and he's like, yeah, she's beautiful. Like, what's your plan? Like, well, how much is she? And I sent the price to him, and he was like, oh, well, let me think about it. And then I just sent him the picture of the marking on the thing where it said sold. And he was like, so it says sold now. Did someone else buy it from you? And I'm like, no one else bought her. And so he's like, oh, okay. So he was like pretty supportive about it. So she was my one. I didn't get in trouble. He knew it was coming. But yeah, she was like $3,000. So
you know what
that was a conversation.
You know what a lot of my friends tell me when it comes to snakes?
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly buying them. I'm always buying snakes. And I tell them, you know, my wife is going to get mad if I get another one. And you know what one of my friends told me? And I quote this. He said, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, I was telling him. So the other way I can get, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but March and our anniversary in October. So our anniversary is October 9th. So it's always right the weekend of our anniversary. And so this past weekend, he was like, so what'd you get me for the anniversary? And I was like, I got you. I didn't buy any snakes at Tinley. Like, that is a massive gift. I ended up getting something when we got back, but yeah, I was joking that like the real gift was me not coming home with something expensive.
I love it. Shout out to Starcan Exotic. They said, I don't even ask. I don't even tell. I just wait for him to find it.
Yeah, they have 3 of our babies. So
they mentioned that. They said all 3 of them are doing excellent. All 3 of my Mosh babies are doing amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I you've been breeding for a while, and I want people to be able to come here and learn and follow in your footsteps if they want to. So I want you to give me the best new, advice you can give for breeders. What's some advice that you can give them that's just going to set them in the right direction if they want to do what you're doing?
Don't expect it to be fast. Start and keep going. My motto, I just keep thinking of like Dory that just keeps swimming. So you're going to have times with, like when I started Instagram, my goal was to get like 50 followers a week, and I worked my ass off on it. And there was a lot of weeks I didn't hit that. And I just kept posting and I just kept going. And I think with that, making money is going to be like that too. If you're not really like passionate about it, I don't think you're going to make it, because this is not a hobby. Other things you can do, making more money faster. You do this because you love to do it. You can't not do it. That's my advice. And also start with females.
So you like the powerhouse females before you get the males.
Definitely, because you gotta calculate how much it's going to cost to feed that snake. So you might find one that's a great deal and it's really cheap, and you're like, oh, I can get this one for $100. Yeah, but the $100 snake is going to eat $500 worth of rats a year. When was the $1,500 snake is going to eat $500 rats per year, but the babies from the $1,500 snakes, you're going to sell for a lot more. So if you really fall in love with the animal, get it. But if you're trying to do it as a business, you got to think about the return on investment, and your biggest expense is your feed bill.
Right.
For the animal, it's going to be your feed bill.
Now, with you being a ball python breeder, do you feel like the market is, because it's so many new breeders popping up, it's so many old breeders popping up.
Breaking out.
Okay, I'll wait.
No, you're good. I'm gonna know what you're asking. Do I think the market's saturated?
No. Do you feel like in 2023 there's still room to make money?
Depends on what you're wanting. Are you wanting enough to make your feed, and are you already starting? Then I think there's definitely room. I think the Canovas will always make money. The Mosh Balls will always make money. JD's always going to make money. If you want to be up there with them, about 10 years, a long time before you're going to be playing that game, unless you have a ton of money to drop right away. But do I think there's still room? Yeah, there's always going to be room. I mean, people still buy cats and dogs, and they've been around a ton of years. So if you're wanting to do like Brian Barczyk and Kevin McCurdy when he first started and get $100,000 for one ball python, yeah, that probably is not a realistic goal.
Okay, well, what's the best goal do you think? Like, as far as like,
I think I have a delay. You were laughing a second ago, so I don't know what you asked.
So what do you think? What do you think is reasonable? Like let's say I'm a new breeder and I'm coming in, and I'm not talking about you specifically, but let's say I'm a new breeder and I'm coming into the game. How many years do you think a new breeder should just be like, okay, I'm probably gonna go 5-6 years without making a profit? Well, how long do you think a new breeder should keep going until they make a profit?
I think realistically, depending on if you're buying babies and waiting for them to grow up, or you're spending more on getting breeder females, realistically, you're probably not going to be making money for about 3 to 5 years, because the early years is all equipment. Like you're buying massive snakes that are doing nothing but eating food, which means your feed bill is huge. You're buying the incubator, you're buying the racks. Now, a lot of people don't buy these as starters, but the way I is, I'd rather buy it once. And our first time around, we built them, we bought the cheaper ones, and my house caught on fire. So I don't build my own stuff anymore. I was really, really lucky that my son saw it before it like really went up and we were able to put it out. But if I hadn't been home or if I hadn't have been paying attention, it would have cost me my house. So to me, it's money ahead. Just pay the people the stuff that everybody says is valuable. And then I'm also, the way I look at it is, and I have a business degree, so I think like that. But I think, okay, if this doesn't work out, what can I sell? And the snakes won't probably hold the value that I purchased them at. That's just how it goes. They get cheaper. That's why you start with the females, is because by the time you buy your male, you can buy a much more powerful male than you would have been able to 3 years ago.
That's the gem. You're dropping gems.
Because genes, but ARSs, they don't go down in value. Like you can almost get face value off of them because people don't want to wait the 4 or 5 months to get them built. I think it's faster than that now, but and like my incubator, that's a hot box sea surface incubator. I'm sure I could get almost what I paid out of it too. Like, and that's why I don't cover it with a bunch of stickers. I know that sounds really like weird, but I always think if this doesn't work out, because it didn't work out for me the first time, and I had to sell everything I bought. And I did, I'm always thinking, I want to be able to get the maximum back that I possibly could. If, and you never know why you have to get out. I mean, you could have a heart attack. You should have to move. They could be illegal. Like there's a million reasons why we could have to get out. Life happens. We can't control that. So I put my money in stuff that would hold its value.
I love that. I love that. You're dropping gems. Like, don't shortcut it. If you get into this business, it's nice that you want to build something, but just go on and get it. Do it once so you don't have to keep doing it again. Buy that incubator, buy those racks. Just do it the right way. I love that. Now,
yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry.
I think it might have been Canova. I'm not sure. Justin said something about you don't buy a $3,000 snake and put it in a $20 tub, because if that goes wrong, this is Josh, this is my husband. If something goes wrong, you just lost your $3,000 snake. Like sometimes you've got to put them in the things that you know that they're going to be safe in. And I'm not saying if anybody does differently, I'm not saying anything against that. We started out that way. It's just for me, I don't want to buy it twice.
Right. I love that. You're dropping gems. I love it. Now, I want to have a little fun. You know, a lot of these breeders, they have mottos. Like, look at Ozzy. Yeah, shut up and breed. Canova, they have the snakes of tomorrow, today. For Mosh's Balls, what's your business motto?
I don't know. I think, like I said, I guess the thing I always say to myself is just keep swimming, just keep going, double down. I wouldn't say that's our motto, but that's kind of how I look at it. The days that you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway.
I love that. I love that answer. That's a great answer. Just keep going, keep swimming. Now, now this is just one or the other. I'm kind of curious. So are you palpating? Or are you ultrasounding?
I want an ultrasound, but I'm not yet. So palpating. That's on my goals, but it hasn't happened yet.
Nothing wrong with that. Palpating is the old school way, but I think that before you do the ultrasound, it's always good to know. It's always good to know how to palpate, so you can teach people. I've tried to do it. I'm not good at palpating.
They always pee on me. I'm probably doing something wrong, but
I love it. I love it, man. Now, for the new breeders that are watching or that will watch, give us some knowledge. What do you think is a good clutch goal? A year, for like a full year. What do you think is a good clutch goal for a new breeder for their season?
doing this, and I talked him into doing this again. I was like, 17 breeder females. I'll only ever get 17 breeder females. And we're at currently like over 100 snakes right now. So that clearly was not happening. But I think I like the way JD does it, where you can still keep it in your basement, focus on the higher end stuff. I think it'll take us a while before we get to where we're more like that. But keep your projects more narrow. That's what in quadruple het females is, because then you don't need as many females and you can still swerve with the industry.
Right. I love that. You dropping some knowledge. Now I'm going to show you one of the snakes that made me a fan of yours. I love the Xanthic morph. Talk about this snake. What's all in this snake right here?
So actually, hold on. You want to take her? Yeah. I'm not 100%. I'm still going out. So his father is the Firefly Xanthic Fast-Het clown that I got from JD Construction.
Oh my God, gorgeous.
Yeah, and I mean, he's full size. So, and his mom was just a pastel het TSK that came from JD's line as well. I think he'll find a pastel. Unfortunately, is a male, but he's either a Firefly or I'm still not entirely sure, to be quite honest with you.
Well,
he looks
just gorgeous.
Yeah, he's a little more dirty than I think his dad was when I got him. So he might just end up being a fire Xanthic.
Like snakes like that, when you were over there and you producing snakes like that, it's no reason. I understand why you have so many followers, because you're producing amazing animals.
Oh, you slow down again.
I said that snake, it makes me understand why you have so many followers on Instagram, because y'all are producing some very nice animals, and I'm just a big fan.
Can I show you my favorite one so far?
Yes.
I haven't held her as much as I should, so she thinks it's feeding day. But she is my favorite so far. I'm growing her up. She is obviously a hypo. I believe she is a cinnamon Mojave leopard.
Oh my God, that is insane.
Possible. I think she's got pastel in her too. She's 100% hip she's going to be going in our hypo and hopefully into our clown project. And we also, so I should have said this earlier. My goal is to make things really, really dark with darkening genes like cinnamon, black pastel, blackhead, Mojave. I'd love to get into like the Voodoo Project and Wookiee. So get things as dark as possible, and then we strip it out with hypo, ultramel, and Xanthic. So those are my goals.
I love to see that though. Some Wookiee. I love it. Now, like I said, we're having a fun time. I'm glad that you're here talking snakes with us. Thank you so much. Now, just kind of give us some knowledge. You've been breeding for a while. What's some of the tips you would give new people in the industry when they have snakes that won't breed?
I don't think I'm experienced enough to really answer that. I know what everybody said, and that is save the sheds from the males that you don't want to pair, and put them in there when you put the males in, so that way it gets them going. I've also heard of the smearing the stuff, but that's not really something that I'm an expert in very much. I haven't had that problem yet, so
hey,
I don't want to give advice that I can't verify.
Hey, well, we appreciate you. That's totally fine. That's what it's about. Just kind of hanging out, talking reptiles. Now, I want people to learn, about seasons. What do you think the best start time and end time is for a breeding season?
Again, I just don't know that I have enough experience to answer like the rainy season. When it's rainy, it start pairing them. When you start seeing follicles start pairing them. If
Okay.
they laid last year, within 2 months, make sure you're pairing them. I think I heard Justin say once before that if they haven't gone within 2 months or after the hatch date of their last one, they're probably not taken this year.
Right.
So keep that in mind. Determine whether or not you want them to hatch all at once, and so then you breed everything all at once a year. I personally would think throughout the years the better way to go, just because incubator space and hatchling rack space and all of that. But that's a personal preference.
Okay, I understand. I get it. I get it now. One thing I like about you guys is that you're chasing your dream, you're pursuing your passion, but you don't let it just completely take over your life. And what I mean by that is you still have time to go out and herp and do other stuff like that. So I want to talk about your herping. What's some of the best finds that you have found when you were out herping?
I have not got to do as much as most of the herping that we done has been with the Herpetological Society. So it was on frog call surveys. So we saw mostly garter snakes and frogs. We've done Florida, but again, then you're finding anoles and black racers. So it's nothing like some people's stories. I haven't got to go out and do as much as I'd like. My sister recently just bought a farm, and she cracked me up because I wanted to go to the acres. And she was like, "Oh, you don't want to go down there. There's snakes down there." And I was like, "No, I really want to go back there." And she's like, "No, no, no." So I haven't got to do her property yet. I want to do that. So I haven't really got to do as much as I would like to.
Right. Well, I'd like to go herping. If you could herp with anybody in the world, who would it be?
But okay, well, if it's living or dead, it would obviously be Steve
Steve
Irwin.
Irwin. No, don't say that though. Don't say Steve. Don't say that's a cheating.
That
Anybody
is
other
a
than
cheap
Steve.
answer.
Anybody other than Steve Irwin.
But and Brian Cusco, like when they go on their trips, they seem like they would be a hoot, and especially if Garrett went, that would be amazing. Um, our president to our Herpetological Society runs the Cincinnati Zoo's reptile zoo, so I think he would be amazing because just all the stuff he knows with their frog call surveys has been really cool. Um, Anybody from the Kentucky Reptile Zoo would be amazing. So people that like know what to do when you cross the venomous. So those would
Man,
be
I
my
I
answers.
love to go herping with Cusco too. You know who I really love to go do something with?
Yeah,
Dave
no, yeah.
Kaufman. Dave Kaufman. I wish I would have went to Africa with him when he shot that movie.
Oh, I know, that was so good. We were watching that when we were in Schaumburg because I think that's the weekend it came out. We were like laughing. We came back saying like maybe we should start a ball python religion here. Feels like we're all already worshiping.
Herping is good, but I'm like, man, I wish I would have went to Africa. That's once in a lifetime herping. But I want to talk about social media because right now we got upwards of 60 people in here. So thank you for watching. Social media, man. I love that we used to didn't have social media and now we have it. So I gotta ask, what made you decide to try and grow on Instagram?
Well, when we were at the point where we were still waiting for all of our females to grow up in size, I figured now's the time that we need to focus on brand and getting people and getting out there. Plus, I do Brian Cusco's Patreon, and so he was always pushing, start a YouTube channel, and everybody was on there early on. It was from Full Throttle and John Feely from Feely's Clutch. Like there was a whole bunch of people that are YouTubers on there, and so everybody would kind of watch each other's stuff and give them feedback and kind of motivate you to keep going. And I was really shy, so I started a YouTube channel at that time, but I found that the editing and all of that wasn't really my thing. I liked the short form for Instagram more, where you could just quickly edit and put up videos. So I do that. I have like probably 15,000 snake pictures on my phone. Like it's insane. So that's what started it, I would say.
I think that you're doing it. You're obviously crushing it. You almost got 50,000 followers on Instagram, and I think that For me, I think snake breeders have to be on Instagram, to show off the pictures of your snakes. And but for me, I didn't want to grow on Instagram. I wanted to grow on YouTube because and this might be petty, but Instagram don't give you, like, when you hit 100,000, they don't give you anything. At least I feel like YouTube,
Yeah.
if you hit 100,000 on YouTube, they give you at least a plaque.
Yeah, and plus you get paid faster on YouTube than you do on Instagram. So, but I don't think I was ever really going for that part. And I know this is going to sound weird. I never really wanted to be known. I wanted our business to be known. And I originally wasn't even going to show my face. But I started thinking people want to know you. Like, they want to know, because this is really more about like making friends and making faith with friends. So I ended up going that route.
Oh, I love it. And like I said, you're killing it. Almost 50,000. So I gotta ask, how does that make you feel, knowing that almost 50,000 people want to see what you got going on?
It's surreal. It is. It happened so fast. Like, I post stuff early on that I didn't think anything about posting. I'm like, this is only being seen by people that like snakes like me. So it's not like I'm just gonna see it of it. And then when it started blowing up and I started getting comments, like, okay, I got a comment on on a video I did of her saying basically that this is what's wrong with the world when people are holding demonish creatures, and instead of reading their Bible, that the world is going to, like, I don't even remember all of what it was, but it was like I was Satan for holding a snake. And I was just like, I have hit the target I was not trying to hit. So,
That's
because a lot
crazy.
of people that follow me are not necessarily my target audience anymore. So I have to be a little bit more aware that people that don't already like snakes might be seeing my stuff now. So it's kind of weird.
I love it. Shout out to Sir Con Exotics. They said, "Hi, Josh. We see you." Um, so what do you think is the best way to grow? Just posting every day, being consistent. What are some tips to grow? To follow in your footsteps, because you're crushing it. So give us some tips on how to grow on Instagram.
I mean, like, obviously everybody's going to do their own thing. And there's a lot of things where people are trying to copy everybody else. And I'm not saying that there's not elements of mine that aren't inspired by other people in the industry. Of course there are. But do what you're happy about watching. Like, if you like it, then that's all it really matters. If you like it, other people like you will probably end up liking it. Um, I do mine because I like to do it. It's not really for everybody else. Likes, that's great. I do always have that moment when something doesn't do well that I'm like, oh, did I just embarrass myself? Like, did I just do something I should not do? But yeah,
I
just be yourself.
I want to get on Instagram, but I get mad when, if I post a good picture of a snake and somebody steal my picture, then I get mad.
Yeah, I've had that.
Scammer, yeah, you had scammers stealing your pictures.
Yeah, I was really lucky. Shane first, they stole our pictures and RCR's pictures and made a page with it, and so people know my snakes, so they automatically was like, this is definitely her. And they stole my face. My face was in the picture, and my son's face was in some of the pictures, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's not cool. That's the only one that I've really caught straight up. I've had other instances where I've looked at ones and thought, is that my snake? And I was like, oh no, that's not my snake. That just looks like my snake.
It's crazy, crazy. Like I said, Instagram,
So
man, it's fun. You know what? Really, with any social media, any platform that you get on, this shit is a grind. If you're not, consistent with it, if you're not doing it because you love it, you're not gonna grow. That's what it is. Even for me being on YouTube, it's a grind. If you don't love it, you're not gonna grow. But again, like I said, you're absolutely killing it. Now, currently, with how many snakes do you think you have in your facility right now?
it's over 100.
100 plus? Are y'all breeding rats or y'all buying them?
We just recently started breeding rats. I'm not sure that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it does not smell good. And I get really attached to the rats. They're kind of like little dogs. So that's not good. I've been breeding mice for over a year, and I think I'll probably keep doing the mice. The mice don't bother me so bad.
But you know what? Breeding is when you're a snake breeder, that when you breed them, that saves a lot of money.
Yeah. When I calculated what the food cost bill was going to be if I didn't, that's what made me do it. Plus, there's some snakes when they're live. I know that sounds horrible, but like I feed frozen thawed mice, I feed frozen thawed rats, I feed live mice, I feed the live rats. It depends on what they want.
Yeah, I breed my rats too. My wife kind of pushed me into that way of breeding rats. I took her to the pet store with me one day, and I was buying some, and she said, "That's how much you spend every 2 weeks on rats." She said, "Oh no, oh no."
Yeah.
I think it was like $60 or $70 just to feed my snakes.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh no, you might as well start breeding them."
Yeah, I get really, really lucky. ARS is like an hour and a half from us, so we'll usually drive down there and get like $800 worth of rats and like fill up the freezer and then come back.
Now, do you do normal rats or you do ASFs, or do you think one is better than the other?
I don't think ASF is legal where I'm at. I'm not 100% sure. I do regular. I do, like I said, I do mice and regular rats.
Nice. I love it. Well, you've given us almost an amazing hour, and I got a couple more questions just to have a little fun before we go. You're a snake breeder. Shout out to AEP. He's out there crushing it, selling snakes to celebrities. So my hot seat question to you is: if you could sell any celebrity a snake, who would it be?
Michaela Peterson.
Michaela Peterson.
Yeah. The reason I say that is I listen to Jordan Peterson a lot, and when he talks about her having a snake as a kid. And then when she moved not that far from me, I told her, I was like, wow, she's close enough. I could actually sell her a snake. And then that has stuck in my brain. I don't even think she has snakes anymore, but that one's stuck in my brain.
That's what's up. I love that.
Right.
That'd be awesome to see you do that. And I think down the future you will, because y'all are crushing it. Now, just to have a little fun, you only been breeding, you said, for like 3 or 4 years. So my question to you, what was it like seeing your dream become a reality? Do you remember that actually making those first couple sales?
It's crazy. There's no other way to put it. It's exciting and it's crazy and it feels like a long time coming. So I feel like I've done what I needed to do. Like whatever else happens after this, I'm good. So it kind of takes some of the pressure off. I just didn't like leaving last time and never even getting to see eggs. So that's all I can say on that.
Guapa makes it. Derek, just curious, how many snakes did you have? Upwards of almost 15 now. I used to have more, but my collection is constantly going up and down. Just depends on it. Now, before we go, we got a couple more. How did you master pulling eggs without getting bit?
I don't know. We just followed all the instructions from everybody else's. Yeah, we're lucky. I've actually only been bit like 5 times. I think it's pretty easy to read their body language. And granted, with the eggs, you just go for their tail and their head at the same time. I don't know, they haven't really struck at me. Just do it fast.
I love it. Well, like I said, I'm a big fan. I think that y'all are crushing it. You gave us almost an amazing hour of just sitting here talking snakes. I like to keep my podcast about 30 to 45 minutes, just to kind of hang out, get to know you as a person, what you got going on, your current projects, and hopefully down the road we can get around too. But like I said, I'm a big fan. Y'all are crushing it on Instagram, and I wish you nothing but success.
Thank you.
Now, before we end, how can we reach you? Mosh Balls on Instagram. How else?
Mosh Balls on Instagram is the best way to reach me. We are also Mosh Balls on YouTube, moshballs@gmail.com. So, several times throughout the day. So it'll be the fastest.
Make sure y'all go check out the Morph Market too. Get some snakes from them. They are a husband and wife couple that are absolutely crushing it. Now, before we go, I want to have a little fun. We have Brian Barczyk on the podcast, and he'll tell you can have some of the most amazing videos, but if your thumbnail is shit, nobody's going to watch your video. So before we leave, let's make a thumbnail face for my thumbnail. Josh said we are also on Facebook. Inquiline said, great show. I appreciate it, Inquiline. Thank you so much. Before we go, I want to make a face for my thumbnail. Are you down?
Mhm.
All right, so on the count of three, I want to make a funny face, and it's going to be my thumbnail. So 1, 2, 3. There it is. Again, I appreciate you for coming on and giving us almost an hour of your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have an amazing night.
You too. Bye.
Definitely a fun show. A husband and wife couple that is just killing it on Instagram. I mean, can you imagine having 50,000 people want to see what you got going on? Incredible. They make some amazing snakes, and she's just lovable. When you see her, she's happy. She's so friendly. How can you not love Michelle from Mosh Balls? So y'all make sure y'all go give them a follow on Instagram. Y'all make sure y'all check out their Morph Market Facebook. Tell them Derek's Reptile sent you. This was a fun podcast. If you're here, make sure you go head over to the Iron Animal Show. I think he's going live. I'm not sure if Justin's coming. Thank you, MKR. Great show. You know, that's what it's about. People coming. We get to know who they are. Shout out to Guapame. Much love, Guapame, MKR, Bosa, everybody that showed up, man. I appreciate you. This is Big Reptile Talk. Until next time, we out of here.
Big Reptile Talk.